Mimosas with Michael. Mimosas with Michael. Mimosas with Michael. Yay!
Okay, are we doing this?
Fuck yeah.
Oh my god, we're rolling. Okay, roll sound, everybody. Quiet on set. No. Okay. All right, let's get this motherfucking started. Hey everybody, this is Michael Colomb with Mimosas with Michael and my little go. What are you? My co-host Richard
I'm
Trejo.
your go-ho?
My go-ho.
Oh, shit,
And today we have the affable Cale. I love Cale. Cale Hammond, who I had the pleasure of working and meeting with on Ad Out, the tennis drama that I created by Troy Aiken. Cale, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh my God! You just
I'm
have
here.
you're like invited to be talked. He's like a vampire.
Yeah, well, I thought that's how it works. I thought you say something, bring me on, not just let me go. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
you're
your
right.
energy. I love your energy this afternoon. You're definitely lifting my spirits. I'm dragging ass today. As you know, I had a pretty big Saturday after we wrapped.
Yes, so I
after we wrapped
heard.
the final scenes.
Yeah. No, those scenes were legit, and we had fun. We went to the bungalow in Santa Monica. Everybody was
As
so
one
young.
does on Saturday daytime.
Yeah, it was fun. It was beautiful. I mean, it was kind of overcast, but it was nice to celebrate with you guys, and we were right there on the beach, so that was pretty lovely.
Yeah, that's the spot. And you had your sweater, so you were fine. And I had my jacket, my bomber jacket, which was a big hit. So everything, no complaints there.
And I went on your Instagram and said it looked better on you instead of on Dan.
Thank you. Yeah, all of my yeah, it was funny to see the mix. Like my close friends I've known forever all said Dan looked better, and then my new acquaintances said I looked better, which said something about my good friends. Maybe I need to reevaluate that.
Yeah, you heard it here first. No, and I want everybody to know. So you're a tennis player first and foremost.
Yes, that is correct.
And so we brought him on because Troy wanted somebody that he could play against who was actually good in tennis. But then, just so the audience knows, Cale had to come on and play the douche. So he was typecast. Just kidding. Richard, what are you doing? Richard's playing with stuff.
Oh no, I'm just making sure, dude. My number one job is to maintain levels, and to make sure that everyone sounds great, and that's all I'm doing. I'm
Mostly
just
me.
going there and I just make sure that everyone
Okay.
sounds smooth
Smooth like jazz.
like jazz. That's
So
our model.
I love it. Yeah. So Cale came on and played the douchebag, and you've never acted before, right?
I've never even done anything close to acting.
But he was so
Not
much.
even,
he
not
was-
even close.
Not even close.
Dude,
Well, he did a really good job. He takes direction really well. He was so much fun on set.
good job. It's commendable because it's like acting is it's a task. You gotta put yourself into the shoes of whatever it is your character is doing, and playing a douche.
Luckily
that's rough.
for me, though, I was already sort of the character that I had to play.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was, like I said, it was typecast. It was great. He's like, we
was
need you to play the douche.
hilarious.
I mean, can you just come on set and be you? That's basically what he said.
Which
No.
was nice for my first try.
Yeah. No, Cale was a lot of fun on set. You're nice and eager and willing to learn. You took direction very well. He had no problem.
Is that a thing? Do most actors and actresses not take direction very well?
No, I mean it's not always that. It's just like just because somebody says they want to be an actor doesn't mean they can act. Just like some people who say want to be a writer can't write and director, But taking direction is I feel like a dual thing. Like it's my job as a director to help you get to these points as a actor, but it's really your job to be able to deliver it, right? So
Okay, so not everyone should take direction, but like the ability to act upon those changes is difficult. Is that what you're saying?
it's a little bit of both.
I wouldn't understand. The director's the director. You sort of got to do. They're the director for a reason. I mean, I feel like you do what they tell you to do.
Yeah, like I'm hired for the job, and that's to bring this project together. But it's not just about seasoned actors know how to take direction well. It's like if I come up to you and say, do you remember there was that moment when I needed you to like go deep into your mind and think about being broken up? Remember how we had that moment?
Yeah, of course.
So that's my job is to come up to you and be like, hey, I feel like in this moment you'd be much more sad. So let's think about the sad moment that you had, and you did, right? And you delivered such an amazing performance. But like you took that direction well. right? Do you see how that is?
Yeah, I
Because
see.
I could have come up to you
Okay.
and said, "Hey, think about something sad," and you're like, and then you couldn't do it. That means, but that was a thing. Is like you took those directions well and were able to deliver, and that's something that you don't see. That stuff takes time to learn.
Well, luckily for me, I've had some pretty gnarly breakups in the past 5 years, so that wasn't too hard. I have been broken up with many a time, and it's pretty sad. So I was able to go back in the vault and get in that be on college campus with my ex-girlfriend Jasmine, saying, I think we should take a break. And Taylor Swift was playing in the background. We are never getting back together, and that was a very, very sad day for me. So,
oh wow,
it's in there. It's in the vault. Yeah. So that's what I drew upon, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. After working with you for the last 3 weeks, it's Jasmine's Laws.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Cale Hammond fan. People don't know this, but I just was charmed by him on set. He's very tall and good looking, and he's sweet, and you just were fun and eager to work with, and I'm so grateful to have that experience with you. So thank you for that.
Well, that's because you created such a nice environment, and such a good atmosphere on set. Everything was going well, but you were also able to make people feel comfortable, which is huge. If I had a director who was putting like all this pressure on me in my first acting performance, there's no way I would have been able to deliver a good scene. But you definitely made me feel comfortable.
Oh well,
which was huge for me, at least for my personality.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about Cale is he reminds me of my friend Jake. We had Jake on the show before. Oh, yeah. He sounds just like and now that you're not in front of me, I'm just hearing you. It's like I keep thinking he's Jake. Jake will be mad.
Well, I'll be Jake. Jake sounds dope.
No, Jake is dope as fuck. So it's all good. You're dope as fuck too. But you played tennis, and I don't know, man. You're just like one of the chillest people. And you and Troy had really good chemistry with everybody. But you guys playing the rivals were so good together.
Yeah, I think it's funny
good.
because we actually did sort of do that stuff, before this project even really came about. I mean, I remember we both lived in Santa Monica. I was working out at the Santa Monica YMCA, and I was wearing my Duke tennis shorts, and Troy stopped me and he said, "Hey, you're a tennis player. I played at Chapman. Let's go hit sometime." And I was like, "All right, sweet, Chapman, whatever. I'll hit with you." But Troy's a fantastic athlete and a good tennis player, and so we had some good battles. But I mean, I'm a better tennis player than Troy, so I was confident in my abilities.
Well, Troy plays more than tennis, though.
He saw my confidence in the abilities, and he goes, "Oh my God, I wrote this show, and I haven't cast this character of sort of the cocky douchebag tennis player. You'd be perfect for it." So maybe that was his way of putting me down a notch after I took him to the woodshed a few times.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
He said, "Hey, you're a good tennis player, but you know what you're even better at? Playing a douchebag tennis player."
Yeah. And you did. And you came and you delivered, and it was a lot of fun. And he was just...
My whole life. I mean, I was super, super cocky my whole life. I was a really good tennis player growing up, and I sort of needed to go through that high school, college phase where you're not such a big deal anymore. No one really cares.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to go into high school, and I was the #1 tennis player in the state. I thought I was going to be hot shit, People were going to like me because I was a good athlete, blah, blah, blah. And no, first of all, no one cares about tennis. It'd be different if it was basketball or football, especially in Oklahoma. So I realized that. I realized, A, no one cares about tennis, and B, no one really cares about you. So if you're a cocky douchebag, that's how you're going to be received. So
yeah,
I drew upon those experiences when I was 13, 14 years old. Really thought you were the hot shit. Realized that no one actually cares.
Well, maybe when the show comes out, it'll be so big that you'll be a hot shit and you'll be cocky again.
I don't think I'm going to be cocky.
No, I don't think you will either.
Being hot shit's never a bad thing.
No. I know. No, I don't think you'd be cocky. I don't think it's in you anymore. I think you've outgrown that.
I think I grew out of that phase, thankfully.
But he does play it well.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. And Cale is fucking hysterical.
All that matters is he was able to draw upon it. Draw from it. That's what that gave to the performance.
Yeah.
And I think I got lucky too because like one of the things I do a lot is like that little smirk.
He has a smirk. Yeah.
And I've got a good smirk, and so the smirk looked good on camera, and I saw that, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll just smirk the whole time until I need to be sad or whatever. And
until Michael tells me not to.
I can't imagine playing a different role and actually having to, act not like myself.
Well,
but, maybe one day we'll find out.
I know. Well, I have to tell this funny story that I think is quite adorable. Where the last day of shooting, we did the locker room stuff, and Cale comes up to me and he goes, I showed all the footage to my mom, and she's so proud of me. She gave me $200 to go take acting classes. And I thought that was just the cutest thing, and I was like, oh, she's so excited.
She's always wanted me to be an actor. She's like, you look good on camera.
You do
just
look
have
good
to
on
go
camera.
out there and let go, and then they'll tell you what to do, but you just go out there and be yourself and let go, because no one really cares. You can't come in and hide your performances. I feel like, and that's true with anything, especially tennis. If you're thinking about other stuff, if you're self-conscious about your game, you're going to play terrible. So you really just got to let it go and trust, and then see what happens, which is sort of the approach that I took.
No, I'm telling you, you did great. You were easy to direct. I did feel like sometimes I had to give line readings, but it's only because I know that you're new at this. So sometimes I'd be like, hey, can you deliver it sort of like this? But 9 times out of 10, it was really just like that moment where I was like, I need you to go to this place, or I need you to try this differently. And really, most of the time, it was just like, hey, can you just take a breath right before these words? And sometimes my 2 favorite notes to give as a director are slow down and just take a breath here, because really sometimes it's about trying to find the balance between the 2 different lines, or like the sort of like in a scene you have like an ebb and a flow, and so sometimes if you just take your time and you take breaths and pause, you could get all of those. Oh, I know. So
yeah, the pausing was interesting to see how that looked on camera, just because acting, you think it's sort of fast paced, back and forth, blah blah blah, but that was really interesting to see how how much the pauses actually helped the exchanges.
Well, yeah, especially so like if you're doing comedy and there's like that back and forth, yeah, that works. But with drama, I mean, there were funny moments, and which was so great about like having you, because there was unintentional funny moments, like that scene where when Troy comes to join the team, and you're like, what the hell, coach? And he like entered the scene, and it was just him being like honest, but it was so funny because it's like your character is just unintentionally funny, but because of who you are as Kale, right? It just played really well. So.
I can't wait to see it. I really can't wait to show everyone and tell everyone, have them all share it.
I know it's gonna be legit. It's a lot of fun. So what else do you do? You do a lot of social media stuff. Like, tell me about like Cale Hammond, the tennis player.
Okay, so Cale Hammond, the tennis player, played his whole life, thought he was going to be pro. Realized junior year of college probably that's not going to be an option. So I was trying to figure out what to do, and I thought about going into all these different roles in the business world, and just like get that 9 to 5, get a stable situation, and that just didn't appeal to me at all. I knew I wanted to work in sports media, but I didn't know how. I knew it was a competitive, tough field to get into.
Yeah.
And luckily I moved in Los Angeles, and the tennis channel was right down the street. And I didn't really know that. I Googled the tennis channel because I knew it was in Los Angeles, but I didn't know where.
Yeah.
And I realized I lived half a mile away. So, oh my God, I got to get a job there. That's where I can, start my career. And
it's like a freaking sign.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely meant to be, I think.
And how long have you been
and I started there. I started as a production assistant, as one does.
Nice.
Good for you. And tennis production assistant's different. I mean, I guess it's all a grind, and I mean their call times are terrible often for acting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But for tennis, they're like really, really, really fucking bad. Like there's tournaments going around all over the world at all times. So you have to be on China's time zone one week, France's time zone the next week, Italy's time zone, then you're on Australian time zone. And
oh wow.
Some of these call times are literally 1:30 a.m. and you have to sleep from 6 p.m. to midnight, which is impossible. And then your alarm goes off and you've only gotten 2 hours of sleep. And now you got to go into the control room and have a full day's work starting at 1. You're drinking coffee at 2 a.m. Your breakfast comes at 5 a.m. It's just, it's a nightmare, but I mean, we love it and we love the sport. So that's why we do it.
Oh no, I've had like call time sometimes where like Starbucks isn't even open yet. I'm like, whoa. How am I getting my coffee?
So that should be illegal.
I know, but that's why you just pull into a gas station and get gas station coffee, because they make that shit all night.
Yeah.
Hells yeah.
And it's cheaper.
It is cheaper. Yeah, you're right. You get right about that. So that's good. And you've been there for about 2 years now? 6 years?
I've been here for like 4 years. So I started as a production assistant, and then
that's adorable.
I met at some tournaments. I met people who worked in programming, which is what's on the air 24/7. All the scheduling, all of the the information sharing that goes on. And with tennis, it's an especially hard deal because you have a schedule every single day for the tournaments.
Yeah.
And depending on weather, depending on player injuries, depending on so many factors, those can just completely crumble. All your best laid plans just crumbles beneath you, and then you got to start from scratch and then reorganize and reset the schedule, and then you got to let everyone know about the changes, and you're just fielding questions all day. Everyone's wondering what's this, so you got to be on top of your stuff.
Oh yeah,
especially
no, of course.
If you're in programming at Tennis Channel, and it's a hard job. It's a thankless job, and I didn't really like it just because it was a lot of behind the scenes work, and I played at a high level, so I knew these pros that were playing on our air.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, I can help this network more if I'm on, a sort of a consumer facing side, where I can, deal with the players and talk to the players and interview the players and shout them out on social media and get them to retweet. And then I got the job in social media, and it's been going fantastic. And then slowly but surely I've been sort of shifting over to the writing and reporting aspect, which is what I wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely in the right spot, which is a good feeling, because I came out to LA. I chased the girl out here. Girl broke my heart very sadly.
Oh.
But
more moments to draw from.
Yeah, the supermodel who gets famous and then dumps you, which is what happened to me.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's a good learning experience.
I do remember you
mentioning I got to use it as a balloon instead of an anchor. That's what my roommate told me, because I was pretty bummed. I had about a year and a half where I wasn't really talking to that many girls. I wasn't going on that many dates, just because this girl was sort of talking to me still, sort of leading me on, but also want to do her own thing. But I was, still in love with her, so I was like, okay, wasn't really, giving myself any chances with other girls. And finally, I'm getting over it now. Now the real Kale is almost back.
Oh shit, the real Kale. Will he please stand up? Please stand up.
Exactly.
So now once Ad Out comes out, we'll have to get all of those tennis players to retweet it, because I think it's such a great story, and I think it's a great script, and I think everybody did such a phenomenal job that we need to get this scene.
Yeah. 100%, and it looks good too. The tennis footage that they shot is some of the best tennis footage that you'll see.
Joey's legit. He did a great job. Yeah, and the directing was phenomenal. That's thrown that out there.
Directing was the best part about everything.
See, Kale's my favorite.
Oh, wow.
I know, I love Kale. No, it was. I keep telling this to Troy, that I'm so grateful that he allowed me the opportunity to help him bring his story to life. So I'm truly grateful. I know we just did a pilot, which is okay. That's sometimes that's where you got to start. So, but I do know that the head tennis gear was very happy when they were on set looking at everything. So that's a good thing. I think we're gonna have something fun. I really think people are gonna look at this and be like, it's shot well, but it's acted well.
It's different too.
Yeah, different's good.
Totally different, which is great. And I think it'll appeal to a younger crowd, more digital friendly, which is great too, because that's where it's gonna take off. It's not gonna take off, on a network airing in a 30-minute slot. It's just gonna be. I think it could
create it. But then we can create it.
It could definitely create some traction in the tennis community, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, and then we'll come back for the rest of the season 1 and go into season 2. It'll be fantastic. We'll bring the whole gang back together again.
We're gonna have to start writing it. Troy's gonna have to start typing again.
I know. Well, once we get past the whole editing portion, which we're in right now.
How does that work? How involved is the director in the post editing process?
It really depends. Each project is different. I'm going to be doing some traveling here, so the editor has the footage, and I believe is editing just this week. And then Troy is going to kind of be there to be involved because it's his intellectual property. And then from there, I've already been told that I will start giving feedback once they have they basically do a rough assembly or like a little edit to kind of give you an idea of this is how it flows. And then I can just either sit there with them, or they can just send me a link and I can just watch and be like, hey, I really feel like this would be a great cut here and do this here. It's the same thing I do with all the horror stuff I do for Horror House. My editor just kind of lives in the editing room and he edits something, right? Like I talked to him about it, which I have done with Troy. As we were shooting, I said, hey, let's really pay attention to these moments. This is how we should start it. So all those notes are there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like I said, I'm a collaborator, so I love letting them just kind of put something together to show me. Because and then the good thing is like I try to build in transition. So like that one scene on the bench where we start on the shoes and tilt up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff. Yeah. So I try to build the transitions and story moments in there as well. So all those beats are there. It's just if we have a great editor, which this is Troy's person, so I'm hoping he's actually worked with this person before when it comes to like all the tennis stuff.
Well, he's knocked it out of the park so far, so there's no
Yeah,
reason to believe the editor is not going to do a fantastic job also.
exactly. And so giving a good editor good footage, you know, that's a good combination, I think, in post production. So I'm really excited about seeing what this. I think it's a guy. I really don't know who the editor is yet, but I'm really excited about, you know, in the next like 3 weeks coming up and seeing what they have. You know,
I have a question for you. How long, like, we do the scenes, and they're short scenes because this is short fun show, but
yeah,
like, how long is like the longest take gonna be, for like big movies and like big monologues and stuff? Because I didn't realize that, how many different times and how many different angles you had to shoot all of the shots,
yeah.
which makes acting, a little like not easier, but a little more comfortable in thinking about pursuing that in the future, because like you're doing the same shots over and over and over again.
Well, here's
from
my
different angles.
Exactly, and here's my style, which is why I think it's important. This is from years of me being in film and making movies. Is I tried to start with the wide as often, because as storytelling, you don't always live in a wide. The wide really just introduces us into the scene, so it tells us like where we are,
Right.
tennis court, who is where within the scene, like you're on the left, Troy's on the right, kind of thing, right? So you live in the wide just for a few moments, so it's really easy to just do like 2 takes in the wide, and what happens is you're starting to build a rhythm. So that's why I rehearse the scene.
Yeah, you do the wide first, and then they're ready, more comfortable. They see what works, what doesn't work when you come to the close up. I guess that was cool for me to see how you do the wide, and then you do the close up, and then you do the sort of the action shots. Another shot I didn't realize was so popular was like the behind the shoulder shot, where you see the back of someone's head and the other guy talking. When you guys first shot that, I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It's called Over the Shoulder.
Watching my favorite show, one of my favorite shows of all time, Sherlock.
I love Sherlock.
And there's so many back and forth exchanges, witty, quick exchanges going on. And they use that shot in every episode. Almost like every 5 minutes you saw one of those behind the head, behind the shoulder shots.
Well, because what it does is it ties the audience into who is where they are in relationship to each other. So your mind sees that like this character is to the left of the screen looking camera right, and then you see the person's shoulder, so your mind ties it in.
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't know. I like literally thought like this was like the first time I'd ever see a behind the head shot, and then I realized like, oh my God, I've just been totally like not even realizing it. I guess because when you're watching it, from a third party perspective,
you're just meant to enjoy it.
Talking.
Yeah, you're just meant to enjoy it, and that's one of the best things about it. And so like, but there'll be times that we've done just close-ups, like when there's really dramatic moments or we're doing story, like you get really close. But like, and then for just normal talking and stuff, they just do over the shoulders because it's intimate, but not like really intimate. And then like comedy is shot a lot of wide, so a lot of your scenes where you and Troy are like fucking with each other, sort of like in wides and mediums, because like you can see all of your actions. That's kind of so there's like a reason why we shoot the way that we do, because it's visual storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so like my co-host here, Richard, and I, we did he shot one of my horror movies, and the thing is like it's not, so the director's job isn't just about bringing the performance to the actor, it's about also, so you'll notice that like sometimes I tilted up on things or I panned off.
Right.
They're called transitions. It's how you enter and exit a scene, and to me that's important because if you see my movie stock, we have so many good examples of transitions because Richard and I are really good about that. But sometimes we came out of focus, we came off of things. I did a lot of that because that's how you. It's not just about having good acting. We're telling a story.
Right.
Right. So it's up to me and the director of photography to come up with great shots that tell the story.
Yeah, movement is important, I think. And like if you can translate movement with, and also make it like a good artistic movement, then I think that there's something about that. Like when you watch it, it connects on all the levels. If you have the music is perfect, if the sound, then it kind of like reaches you on a whole another level.
And then
who's in charge of the sound? Is that the editor and Troy? Because the soundtrack's important for everything you shoot too.
Yeah. So Jesse was our sound guy on set. So he was the sound mixer per se. Like and he did boom. And then in post production, we'll have another person kind of mix the levels again. We'll also have a sound designer, right? So they come in and add other sounds like doors opening, a lot of the Foley stuff, right? That also works the same way of like, Joey will come back in post and do all the color correction, so he'll make sure that every shot kind of feels consistent between each other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then the editor will create a final cut with all of that, and then once the final cut is done, they go in and do all the sound designing, and then they do the color correction, and then while that's happening, that's when we start composing, or we also get music. So Troy is going to reach out to artists about music. That's what he's mentioned. I don't know what he's got lined up at the moment. So, but that's the fun part of it. And then that's when you watch it and you're like, wow, there's all these parts. You just don't realize it, but because you're just on set watching these moments. But we'll put all these underlying things in, and it'll be great. When you watch it, you'll be like, damn, like it just was a script, and now we have something like legit and real in our hands, and it sounds great. It looks great. It's gonna be great. So that's how you make movies. So that's why I do the wide as much like I do, because you kind of get the rhythm of where we are.
Doing the wide first, yeah.
Yeah, well, because it helps you. It kind of helps you as an actor and you, the audience, kind of like establish the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then, yeah. Sorry, hold on one second. Richard's playing with my mic. You kind of just got quiet for a second. Okay, I can hear you now.
Cool.
Okay. Anyways, actually, we're basically running out of time, but I feel like we just spent so much time on filmmaking, which I think is a beautiful thing anyway. So,
I mean, it's cool for me to learn more about it, because it's definitely something that is interesting and something that I feel like now. I mean, I played myself in a role, but I feel like I could, do that. It's definitely enjoying. It's definitely a cool feeling to be on set, with the camera. And I don't know. I feel like someone told me one time, like, you can either act or you can't act. Like, some people just can't act. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I can act, which is pretty cool. I sort of get what he's saying now. At first, I was like, oh, who's this douchebag? You can act or you can't act. But
now that you've been there.
Now that I've been there, I see like, oh yeah, you can either get in the zone and do it, or you're thinking about it, which is,
Yeah. Well, and it's
makes
interesting
sense.
because
It's like anything else. It's like anything else. You got to get in that zone. Especially, it's sort of similar to playing sports, because like, if you're in that zone and you're not thinking about it, you're going to do much better than if you are thinking about it, and then your mind is just not in the right place. So that's cool to me.
Yeah. Well, and it's it's like actors go to school to learn their craft about finding those emotions and figuring out to deliver the best performance. And then of course, because if the director says, I want you to deliver it this way, they have the training to like be able to deliver it. But at the same time, in crew thing, it's like I keep writing and directing because I want to hone my craft, because I owe it to the audience as well as to those both actors and crew on set that are like investing in this project. I owe it to them to be able to be good at my craft. Like I don't want to just say I'm a director. I actually want to be a director. I want to. Same thing with my writing. Like I spend all my time writing, and I think that's important. Like I owe it to the project. Like in this case, I owe it to Troy because Troy believed in me to bring his intellectual property to life.
Yeah.
And then I owe it to people like you who are taking time out of your schedule to help us create something amazing.
I mean, I took time out of his schedule because I felt the same way you did. I wanted to help Troy out. This was his big project, and he spent so much time and money on it. And I was like, the least I can do is, help and do the best I can.
And everybody did great. And it was a really fun project. So, anyways, any advice, because we're almost done, we have to wrap up the show, but any advice you want to give to people both for sports and for acting, since I have you on the spot?
I mean, on the spot advice, I would just say I've been really focusing on, the importance of just being yourself, because it's not an easy thing to do. And I moved out here from Oklahoma. I mean, I went to school at Duke, but from a kid from small town Oklahoma, moved out to LA. You're impressionable. You see all these different people. You think they're cool. You want to be like them. You want to do this. You're judging. Everyone's doing so much cool stuff. And you sort of feel like, sometimes you feel inadequate. Sometimes you feel like you need to be doing more. Sometimes you lose patience. And that's the biggest thing. It's just finding a way to be yourself. Because in my experience, and when you are yourself, that's when things sort of go the right way. And you're not, trapped in your head thinking about what could happen if this, what if this, if that. The what if scenarios are brutal.
So brutal. And then how can we find you?
Like you can find me on my Instagram at Cale Hammond, CaleHammond, all one word, and then Twitter, which is more Tennis Channel related tennis content on Kale_Hammond if you like tennis, which you should because it's a great sport. They need to change the camera angles on tennis, though. It's sort of killing the sport. They do like a wide overhead shot on camera 1, and it's above the net. And so you really can't see how fast and well these players are moving, how athletic they are. You can't see the shape they put on the ball with the spin.
Yeah, it's true. I learned all that just
shots. You sort of just see the ball going back and forth, which is really boring.
All right, Kale, let's change it.
That's another thing I'm trying and figure out a way to do is sort of help the sport by getting cooler shots in it. Because like if you see like the ground level, you see how fast these players are actually moving.
Yeah. We can do this.
But
let's do it, Kale.
That's it. That's
you
that.
and I. Man, you're awesome. I just want to say a shout out to Troy for believing in both Kale and myself for this project, and all those involved. And I want to say thank you to the audience, and I want to say thank you to Richard for being involved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
This is Michael Coulomb.
Thank you, Kale.
You guys are cute. This is Michael Coulomb with Mimosas with Michael. Again, thank you to Kale Hammond. You can find us on where we're on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Lofty Craft TV. We're on every Wednesday at 4:30 Central Time on Coming Up Next. I'm sorry, Coming Right Up. I always want to say that. I'm a nerd. And mimosaswithmichael.com. All right, big shout out to Kale Hammond. You guys follow him on his social medias and stuff. And let's make tennis big again.
Woo! Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're a rock star, man. I'm glad we became friends. I look forward to hanging out and doing more awesome things.
Me too.
All right. Take care, man.
Nice meeting you, Kale.
Nice meeting you. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, homie.